Hey guys, welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a look at this feature called STP PortFast, which is one of the enhancements that Cisco made to the IEEE flavor of per VLAN STP, which led to PVSTP Plus, which is Cisco's flavor of STP with the enhancements that they introduce. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and also implement it. So it's more of a lecture and lab in this particular video. What are the main topics? Spanning tree forwarding. How does that spanning tree forwarding take place? Up front, we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the PortFast feature and then actually do the implementation of it. I'll also show you a demo of what happens with and without PortFast. So this is my topology over here that I'm going to be using. I am going to use a single switch 1, which is connected to 4 devices. I've split them into 2 different VLANs. VLAN red over here, which is VLAN 10. So these 2 guys should be able to talk to each other, and VLAN green, which is these 2 ports over here, they should be able to talk to each other. So what I want to do now is I want the ports to be enabled for PortFast. But before we talk about PortFast, let's take a look at how does a port come up within a STP enabled switching infrastructure. So just because STP's job is to make sure that there are no loops, it treads with caution in the sense that when a port comes up online on a switch, it doesn't let the port start forwarding immediately. The reason for that, it wants to make sure if it's a switch, it needs to discover the switch, see maybe the switch is connected to another switch causing a loop. So what it does is for the first 30 seconds, first it listens to all the frames, if any frames are coming in from that port. It listens onto the ports, doesn't do anything with it, listens on it. And then if any BPDUs are coming in, it starts learning the topology. It also starts learning the MAC addresses coming off that port, but does not forward. Each one of those states that you have, whether it's listening or learning, takes about 15 seconds. We actually discussed that in an earlier video as well. The purpose of these 2 states is to listen to any BPDUs coming in from the port, learn the topology, so that it can determine if the port will cause any loops. If there's any loops, it will take a look at the topology and see where the blocking port should be. All right? If there's no loops, it will start forwarding. Good with that? So once we've established that, the switch will determine that there's no loops, it'll start forwarding. Now what happens if I do something like that? Let's take a look. I have a topology over here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these ports into the appropriate VLANs, gig 01 and gig 03 into VLAN 10, and gig 0, gig 11 and 13 into VLAN 20. And these are the IP addresses that you have between PC1, PC2. Let's see if they can communicate to each other. PC3 and PC4 should be able to communicate to each other. What I'm going to do though is before I let them communicate to each other, I am going to bring these ports down. So all these ports, I'm going to put them into the shutdown mode. Once they're shut down, I'm going to start a continuous ping on the PC that starts sending pings onto these ports. Bring the port up and see how long before it starts forwarding. All right, so that will show you what happens on a switched environment just to make sure that there are no loops in the environment. So what I'm going to do over here, first thing, gig 01 and gig 03 should be in VLAN 10. So I'll go to switch 1. That's the only switch that I have right now. Call it switch 1. Interface range gig 0/1, gig 0/3. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 10. Now I don't have VLAN 10. If I don't have VLAN 10, it sees that I'm trying to assign a port to a VLAN that does not exist. It creates a VLAN for you. See, VLAN 10 does not exist, creating VLAN 10 for you. Not only that, it has put these 2 ports, gig 01 and 3, into that VLAN. Now what I'm going to do next is take care of these other 2 ports in VLAN 20, which is gig 11 and 13. So let's go back over here. Interface range gig 1/1, comma gig 1/3. Oops. Over here, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. Same thing, the VLAN does not exist. It'll create it for you, so you don't need to worry about it. So 10 and 20 with the 2 ports on it. That part is taken care of. Now, let's bring these 4 ports down. Interface range, gig 0/1, gig 0/3, gig 1/1, gig 1/3, shutdown. So all those 4 ports, if you take a look at them, will be in shutdown mode. See? 01, 03, 11, and 13. All of them are shut down. Okay? Now I'll go to my PCs. Let's launch all 4 PCs that are there. This is PC1. Should be PC2. Let's check. There you go. It gives you an indication of what the PC is. Yeah. This is 1.51. This is 1.52. What I'll do over here is I'll start a continuous ping. 1.52-T. All right, not going through on reachable because the port's down, which is understandable. Similarly, I'm on the 2 network over here, 2.51, and this should be 2.52. So these 2 guys should be able to ping each other as well. So ping 192.168, 2.52. Oops, this one I need to put that continuous ping. Not going through, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these ports back up. So all those 4 ports should come up. So all ports are up. Let's see if my ping is working. Still unreachable. Although the ports have been up, it's still unreachable. What's happening? The listening and learning states is happening. So right now, although the port, I've already brought the port up over here on the switches, you guys can see it, but it's not forwarding right now. Why is it not forwarding? And finally it did. So I know everything is working, but it was not forwarding up front. The reason it was not forwarding is because of the listening learning states. And that's the problem that I have. If I know as an administrator that these ports are going to be connected to where? Towards end devices, there's no need for me to wait for 30 seconds. I need to trust the administrator. STP needs to trust the administrator. So what you do is you have the ability to use this feature that Cisco introduced called PortFast. What does PortFast do? As an administrator, you can tell it, hey, listen, these 4 ports over here, guess what? These 4 ports are connected to end devices. They're not going to cause any loops. My word for it. STP says, fine enough, you're the boss, let's forward immediately. But you need to do that. How do I go about doing it? I go onto the interface and enable it. You can also do it globally, but for right now, we'll do it under the interface. So, before we do that, let's take a look at this. PortFast is a Cisco technology. What does it allow us the ability to do? It allows the administrator to configure a port to skip the listening and learning states and move directly into forwarding. Why? The administrator knows that these ports are connected to end devices. They're not going to cause any loop. All right? So the administrator can configure the port as PortFast so the forwarding can happen immediately. So it'll skip the 30 seconds of waiting time that you guys saw was happening when the port came up. That's the listening and learning 15 and 15 seconds. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. The command is very simple. You go onto the interface and configure PortFast. I've already done the mode access VLAN 10 and 20 on the different ports. All I got to do is enable the PortFast feature and test it. So how do I go about doing it? Let's go to the switch. I'm still in the range, so I can just to show you, I'll go into all 4 ports, gig 01, 03, 11, 13, and when I say spanning tree PortFast, it's enabling that feature on all these ports. Okay? I'm going to shut this port down so that I can show you that the ping has stopped now. So the ping is stopping over here on on the devices that I need it to be stopped where the ping is happening. See, the request is timing out. I'll move it up a little bit. Unreachable, unreachable, nothing's happening, right? Now, before, when I enabled the ports, it had to wait for about 30 seconds before it started forwarding, and you guys could see that. You go back up, scroll up all the way, and I need to scroll up over here. You guys remember, I had to wait for all these unreachables before it started forwarding. Now, this time around, I want you guys to see what happens. Still unreachable. As soon as I go to these ports that I shut down and I say no shut to them, I want you guys to see what happens. It has already started forwarding. I'm not waiting anymore. Immediate forwarding. So this makes sure that the people that are plugging their laptops in or their end devices in, PCs in, they don't need to wait for 30 seconds before it starts forwarding, because the administrator has faith in the person that he will not connect a switch over there causing a loop. He's going to connect a PC, and that should start forwarding immediately. And that's what I've demonstrated to you guys over here. Simple lab, simple feature, but a useful feature in today's day and age where we're very impatient. As soon as we plug our devices in, we expect it to start working immediately. I don't want to wait for 30 seconds for it to work. All right? So that's pretty much it for the PortFast technology. Simple but good technology. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in the next video.